In this video, you'll discover 5 stunning photo spots in DUMBO, Brooklyn. The view from the Manhattan Bridge, Emily Roebling Plaza, the roof of Timeout Market, Pebble Beach, and Washington Street.
Hey there, today I'm at the Fulton Ferry Landing. I'm picking up right where I left off in the last video. Behind me is the Brooklyn Bridge, and here is Manhattan behind me. And like I said, this is one of the oldest ferry, actually it is the oldest ferry landing in New York City. It dates back to, hold on, let me check my notes, 1642. So back in 1642, they started using this spot as a ferry landing. And then in 1930, this building behind me is a firehouse, a boat firehouse. Today you can buy ice cream there. And this place has a lot of history because in 1776, George Washington evacuated his men after defeat in Long Island. So it's a place rich with history. It's also a super photogenic spot. Just next door is this little park cafe. You'll see a lot of people doing photo shoots. In fact, today, here's a wedding party doing their photo shoot. And you have this river cafe here. You see a lot of people shooting portraits and stuff. There's also the river cafe over here, just over here. And you're right under the Brooklyn Bridge. Did you get a good shot? Good photo?
Yeah.
All right, so here you can see everybody's getting their photo shoot. So I really like this area. This is Luke's Lobster. I haven't tried their lobster rolls, but it's super famous. If you come down here, you can try a lobster roll. And this place sells slices of pizza if you just want a slice of pizza. I'm gonna talk a lot about food today. There is Shake Shack on the corner if you want a hamburger. And there's 2 pizzerias right around the corner from that, Grimaldi's and one other. There's always a long line though, they're super famous. Right here is a photo event, which normally there's nothing down here. But they have these little exhibits going on down here. You're right under the bridge. It's really cool to be just under the bridge. In the last video, I was talking about Brooklyn Heights and Emily Warren Roebling and Washington Roebling, her husband, and how she didn't get a lot of credit for setting up or helping for her role in building the Brooklyn Bridge. And they renamed this area recently to Emily Warren Roebling Plaza. And it's really popular, as you can see. Just a place to hang out and relax, have a picnic. For photography, I really like a few places right here actually. One is just right under the bridge. When you stand under the bridge, you can see how immense it is, how just the spanning across. Here's a little photo op going on. So I like this. Again, kind of right here again, leading lines. There's a person to kind of give a sense of scale. So in terms of photography, one of my favorite spots for photographing the bridge from below is right over here. I'll show you where. There's usually not that many people photographing here, so you can pretty much come here anytime. There's a lot of tourists, but not that crowded in terms of photographers. So let's take a look over here. This is one of my favorite spots to set up. Just if you put your tripod kind of right in here, you can get a fantastic view of the bridge. And you might want to use a 24, 35 millimeter. Where else? Also down here a bit. I'll go over there in a minute. I want to show you, if you do come here, I also like this little park right up here. It's a good place to have a picnic, relax. If you bring a snack or something, grab a slice of pizza and a beer, you can sit down right up here. It's probably one of the best views in the city, in my opinion. You can see everybody's taking photos, taking pictures. This is the spot. So I love this place right here. Just kind of over here in this area, you have one of the most iconic views right here. Over here is Jane's Carousel. It was built in 1922, and it's one of the iconic spots in this area. It only costs $3, which is about as cheap as anything you'll find in New York City. It's a great spot to bring the kids, a good spot to take photos. There's a lot of people with cameras walking around here. It's a nice book about Jane's Carousel. There's a good shot in here. I like this one. It looks like a bit of a long exposure in the daytime. So if you have an ND filter, maybe an ND6 stop, maybe even a 3 stop, you can get this kind of lights blurring like that. But the carousel closes at 6 p.m., 6 or 6:30. So you can't do any like really night photography here with the carousel. You can see everybody's got their phones out, their cameras, taking pictures. So next, we're gonna go right over here. This is called Pebble Beach. But before we do that, we're gonna go up to the top of this building. I'm gonna show you one of my favorite photo spots. It's not the most known, but very good spot. This is called the Timeout Market. If you want to eat, there's loads of restaurants in here. It's made by the same people who run the Timeout Market, or Timeout magazine. Push, not pull. There's tons of food choices down here. It's very cool. So if you want to just escape the heat, or if you're here in the winter and it's cold, come in here and warm up. There's tons of different food options. We're gonna head upstairs. There's also bathrooms down the hall this way if you need to use them. That can be a problem when you're out taking photos if you can't find a toilet around here, because there's not a lot of public toilets, and if there are, you don't usually want to go inside them. All right, so I'm lazy. I want to take the elevator up. Looks like it's going to take a minute to come down. Let's just walk up. Forget lazy. I gotta work out. Okay, so this is, you can see there's a rooftop park over here. Gotta go up 5 flights. So I really like this spot. There's nobody here now. It's a Monday at 3 p.m. If you can avoid coming here on the weekend, I highly recommend it. This place is mobbed usually. This whole area is mobbed on the weekends. But if you're here during the week, there's about 1/4 of the people that you'll see during the weekends. But even if it's the weekend, if it's crowded, it's still good. So here's one spot that I like. And I like it because you can frame the city. So here's the bridge. But if you have maybe a 35 millimeter or 50 millimeter, let's say something like that. Which one is it? Maybe over here. Nope, not that one. Maybe this one. You can kind of frame use this brick as a way to frame the cityscape. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, I think. Let's do that. So just a kind of creative shot that you can get here. My favorite spot is right over here. That's where we're gonna go. There's a roof deck, but you can't get in there. It's private. You can also stand over here, but this is the best. There's really nobody here. It's like empty. This is usually filled with people. If you go inside this door, there's a whole bunch of restaurants inside here. You can sit out here and have a bite to eat. Just chill here. And I'm gonna go just over here. So I really like this view. You have the bridge. You can see Jane's Carousel. All right, let's see if we can catch the elevator this time. Thank you.
Do you know how to get there?
You can't get to the top because it's private. The only the only place you can go is just right over here. Where are you from?
Argentina.
Argentina, muy bien. ¿Qué parte de Argentina?
Buenos Aires.
Buenos Aires.
Sí, sí, sí.
Nunca fui a Argentina, pero tengo ganas de ir.
Sí, sí, es muy lindo.
Sí, sí. He oído que la comida está muy buena también.
Sí, sí, la comida es muy rica.
Ok, perfecto.
Sí, sí, sí.
Tengo que ir.
¿De dónde eres?
Soy de aquí.
Bueno.
Sí, de 2 horas de aquí, Connecticut.
Excelente. Bueno, mucho gusto.
Ok, mucho gusto. Bueno, buen viaje. Okay, so that was fun. That's the thing I like about New York City, is there's so many tourists, people from all over the world. He was saying he's from Argentina, and I said, oh, I've never been to Argentina. I've always wanted to go. It's high on my list. He's from Buenos Aires. He asked me if he could go, oh, well, he said that in English, if you can go up to the roof. Argentina at the top of my list. Okay, next we're gonna go right over here to Pebble Beach. This is the Manhattan Bridge. And this area, this part of Brooklyn, is known as DUMBO. And DUMBO stands for Down Under Manhattan Bridge Overpass, DUMBO. It's not after Dumbo the elephant, if you were wondering. This is probably the second most, next to those pylons, or maybe tied with the pylon. This is probably one of the most photographed spots in terms of cityscape photography. Like I was saying before, the tide is high, so the beach is, you don't see a lot of pebbles. It's probably not the best time. I would definitely want to shoot this during low tide or when the tide's out more. Don't come here at high tide if you can avoid it, because you'll get more of the pebbles. Might be a little bit more interesting. So let's take a look. Again, you want to try and get down low. You can maybe do a long exposure. You can also come up here and just relax. Set your tripod up here. Put your feet in the water. Now this guy's doing it right. That's the subway crossing over to Manhattan. This is a popular spot in a lot of movies, to film movies. Another little place that I like, another good spot, is just behind, and actually here's a, oh, are they a photographer? No. Well, they have a phone, but if you come up here, so you can use the trees to kind of frame the city. There's also one other spot, which I'm not going to go up there, but if you can walk on this bridge. There's a walkway up here. And if you walk up to about this spot right here, I think it's right there, there was or used to be a little hole in the fence. And I took one of my favorite shots of New York City from right there. And from up there, you have a view of the bridge. You have a view of the bridge from up high. But the subway is going right next to you. It's super loud. Not the most enjoyable place to take a photo from, but the view is amazing. So next up is probably the most iconic photo of this area of Dumbo, of New York City. Let's just say it's the most Instagrammable spot in New York City. That's the Manhattan Bridge. And if you've seen any photos of New York City, you've probably seen people standing right on this street getting a picture. I like this when the sun is setting. Sometimes you get a little glow there, an orange glow. And here's just, they actually finally blocked off this street. It wasn't blocked off before, but I like it because now they turned it into like a pedestrian zone, and you can see everybody's standing here. They also built these little platforms which you can sit on or stand on to get another perspective. Although that's off to the side a bit. The idea is just kind of be in the middle. But I want to show you what I like to do here. I like to go up a bit further. And the reason I like a bit further is if you use a telephoto lens, you can zoom way in and you can get a fantastic view of the Empire State Building. And also, the further back you are, if you zoom in more, if you use like a 70 millimeter lens, 80 millimeter, or 50, you compress. So you could kind of get something more like that. But I want to show you where I took another shot of mine that I really like from this area. So this is the corner of Washington Street and Front Street. Here's Front Street Pizza. I don't know if it's any good, but you can use that as a landmark. So if you line up right about here, and I'm up on a hill a bit, so I'm above everybody's heads. If you line up here, if you zoom way in, I was at maybe 200, 300 millimeters. You zoom way in, that's the Empire State Building right there. So I just set up my tripod and kind of put it next to one of these cars when I took this shot at night. That was DUMBO. Do you remember what that stood for? Down Under Manhattan Overpass. DUMBO. This is an area filled with places to photograph. You also have these old kind of brick streets. It's great here at Blue Hour at night. Come here early in the morning. That's another tip. If you want to get here when there's no people here, try to get here at sunrise or really early in the morning. There's a lot less people. Oh, here's a car behind me. Okay, so we're gonna end or finish up here. And in the next video, we're gonna start just right up over my shoulder. You should be able to see a bridge, people going up. In the next video, we're gonna walk up on the Brooklyn Bridge. So thanks for joining. Till then, see you next time.